X-Men 97 is a continuation of the 90s superhero cartoon based on the Marvel comic books. Set just after Professor Xavier's passing, the X-Men, now led by Cyclops, are still dealing with foes from all sides, including the mutant hate group, Friends of Humanity, the returning Sentinels, and Magneto. And for some reason, Xavier has handed down leadership of the X-Men to him. First off, I just want to say that these are my first impressions based on the first 2 episodes. These are not my final thoughts on everything. This is purely based on what I've seen so far, as there is a lot more to see in the upcoming episodes. Now, with that being said, let's chat. Now, it's been over 25 years since the X-Men have been on our television screens, not including Evolution and Wolverine and the X-Men. Why they cancelled that? That show was fucking good. So I'm certain there was a lot of hype around 97, and now it's finally streaming its first 2 episodes. And my reaction to the first 2 episodes of X-Men 97 are... yay. I don't hate it, I just feel a little bit underwhelmed by it. I'm going to go into detail here, so spoilers ahead. So the show opens with the X-Men trying to save a fellow mutant called Roberto da Costa, where they also find that the Friends of Humanity have been supplied with weapons that belong to the Sentinels. Cyclops and Jean question Gyrick, the man who murdered Professor Xavier, on the whereabouts of Boulevard Trask, and finds out that the Master Mold has returned. So the X-Men head to a junkyard to put an end to the Sentinels for good. Shortly after, it's revealed in Xavier's last will and testament that Magneto would lead the X-Men going forward. Now, for the most part, that sounds fine. They do a decent job in bringing us back to the world of the X-Men, and I can kind of feel the vibe of the 90s show, but I'm not 100% there. I think they were more focused on going backwards rather than forwards. Not to say that the Sentinels weren't a welcome sight, I'm glad to see them back, but I think they're just there for a quick fix of nostalgia, rather than a purposeful reason. I can see why they did this, and I really enjoyed the big fight in the first episode, but I really didn't get anything out of it other than a really cheap hint at my childhood. And it's not only that, we keep getting hit with exposition, whether it be about powers or past adventures, and I thought this was really unnecessary.
If I was down there and one of them brushed against my skin, my power sapping touch would leave him with a nasty hangover.
Haven't worn this old thing since that battle in the blue area of the moon. I was possessed by a malevolent cosmic entity intent on consuming all of existence.
It did actually remind me of the grapes from South Park, but if you really wanted to remind us of all those good times, just keep them in the opening sequence, because I actually thought that was really cool. Although I am struggling to remember when Storm became Darth Maul, and that scene in the nightclub, what a fucking waste of time that was. Roberto runs away from the mansion after being rescued, and they just find him in a nightclub. Him and Jubilee have a bit of a boogie, and that's it. In the original run, something definitely would have gone down, but here we get nothing.
You get nothing! You lose! Good day, sir!
And Roberto doesn't even stick around anyway, which is a blessing really, because I thought he was a complete twat. But I did like the story with Cyclops and Jean Grey. They have a baby on the way and they are thinking of stepping away from the X-Men. But Scott is conflicted by this, because this is all he knew, and he wasn't sure if the team could manage without him, and is still taking Xavier's passing pretty hard. But I did feel sorry for him, and I really wanted the best for them, because after what they went through, they deserve it. And this is where Magneto comes in. Now, him joining the X-Men, I could get behind. Him leading the X-Men? Nope, sorry, that's too much. I get he and Xavier were very good friends. He has teamed up with the X-Men on multiple occasions, and has the saddest backstory out of all the mutants. So I do have sympathy for him. But in saying that, he's done some really evil shit. One of those things is him teaming up with the show's big bad, Apocalypse. So him leading the team? Nah, I don't buy it. But I do like that he's willing to hold his hams up. His hams? Oh. But I do like that he's willing to hold his hands up to what he's done, even being put on trial by the United Nations for crimes against humanity. And yeah, he still has a grudge against humankind for the treatment towards mutants, but for the sake of his friend, he's willing to put that aside even for an attempt at peace. But still, Magneto as the leader of the X-Men?
Not a great plan.
What's also weird is... Gambit, you better look away for this one. Logan, you can look, but keep those claws where I can see them. What's also weird is that Magneto and Rogue, they got it on.
Oh man. Oh God. Oh man.
Look, I get that it's in the comic books, and I understand the science on how they are able to touch. That's not the issue. The issue here is that it's in the animated series. This to me never happened, and it's always been Rogue and Gambit. Me and anyone else who grew up watching this show, 5 seasons of it, we were behind these two. And we knew that these two were meant to be together. Now you expect us to believe this out of nowhere without question? To me, this is some cheap shock value for drama. And how dare you do this to my man Gambit? Someone needs to give that poor Cajun a hug, please. You know what, I'll do it. Come in, man. It's okay. I got you. I got you. Maybe they'll go into it more as the series goes on. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna like it. But in saying that, I think they did a good job in reintroducing these characters. Cyclops, the strong and capable leader. Storm, the wise and powerful Tempest. Jean Grey, the telepathic voice of reason. Beast, the big blue intellect, deep in philosophy. Rogue, the tough as nails Southern Belle. The cocky but cool Gambit. Wolverine, still the trash-talking Canadian, who will slice first and ask questions later. Also, I have to mention that he has the funniest moment in the show so far.
Logan, he's here.
Apocalypse?
The baby!
Bruh.
It's good to see Morph again. He's got more of a wackier sense of humour, but I think that does work for a shapeshifter like him. And Jubilee? I like Jubilee. Not sure why Bishop's here though. Don't get me wrong, I like Bishop. But he normally shows up when time travel's involved in the storyline. I just want an explanation, and hopefully we'll get that soon. And it's even better that the OG cast are here to reprise their roles. Cal Dodd, Alison Seeley-Smith, Lenore Zen, and George Boozer. They all step into the roles like they haven't even left. It's f***ing awesome. And their character designs, for the most part, remain faithful to the original. The outfits are still so tight you can see their abs. How are they breathing? Is it just me, or does Beast look like he's got a bunch of sweets in his mouth? And I don't have a problem with Morph's new look. It's taken from the Age of Apocalypse storyline. As a shapeshifter, it makes sense. So no complaints there. But Magneto...
Oh, you look so
stupid.
What the f*** is he wearing? This is not Magneto. In the OG run, he looked the part as one of the main villains. And the little metal details around his outfit make sense because he is the master of magnetism. But the 97 look? He looks like he's about to walk the runway at London Fashion Week. It's a no from me, darling. And the animation on the whole is... fine. The action sequences are smooth, fast-paced, and fun to watch. Just like a good anime. Outside, like I said, it's fine. But sometimes it looks a little stiff. Now, I'm not saying I want 1,000 things to fly at me at once, that would look silly. But maybe an extra 1 or 2 frames of animation would smoothen things out a bit. But I'm probably just nitpicking. It does manage to fit the vibes of the OG run. But most importantly, we have to talk about the intro theme tune. This time around we have more of a synth orchestra version of the original theme tune, rather than a catchy heavy guitar riff, giving it more of a late 90s retro feel. But I think it works. The hook and intensity is still there. I personally don't think it's as good as the original, but I could bob my head to it and feel the hype. But with all that being said, do I think X-Men 97 started off strong? Well, like I said before, I don't hate it. There is still a lot to like. All the characters we know and love are still here, along with great voice performances from the old and new cast, with decent animation that feels like the OG show. But the main issue here is a lot of its storytelling. I wish they didn't rely on the past so much. Doing things for the sake of nostalgia will not get you very far, and it needs more substance than just exposition. We already know who these guys are. I mean, it's not all bad. Cyclops and Jean Grey starting a family is a highlight, but things like Magneto leading the X-Men and him and Rogue having relations
They got time to bump uglies. That's right, I said bump uglies. Big whoop. Want to fight about it?
are just not believable when it comes to the animated series. But like I said before, these are my first impressions based on the first 2 episodes of the show, and these are not my final thoughts overall. For all we know, it might get a lot better, and we might be going that way if the end of episode 2 is anything to go by. So I'm gonna stick around to find out. Let's see how uncanny X-Men 97 can be, shall we? Also, someone brought up a really good point. If Gambit used his powers on Wolverine's skeleton, would that kill Wolverine?
Oh,
bugger.
And that was my review of the first 2 episodes of X-Men 97. But what do you guys think? Did you enjoy the first 2 episodes? What's your predictions for the next 8 episodes? Do you agree with my thoughts? Do you disagree with them? Comment down below and let me know, because I really want to know. And that's about everything for today, my friends, and thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like what you saw, make sure you like, share and subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and follow me on Facebook, X and Instagram. I've been Titch. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.